Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Chase. Welcome to this week's video. It's going to be a special one, sort of doomsday scenario, how I plan to buy the bottom. Preparation, we'll talk about strategy. Anyone who's new here, welcome. Try to keep these videos pretty, quick, alpha-filled, to the point. Try to replicate, a real environment, right? So if I am ever at all, scatterbrained or anything, it's really just because I don't really prep much for these, but I do have a thought process in mind, and I'm going to try to relay that to you guys. So before we get into the video, as usual, shout out to PrimeXBT for sponsoring these videos. And as usual, none of these, things that I say are financial advice. Find a financial advisor if you really need help. I'm just relaying what I plan to do and how I plan to approach the market. What you do is entirely up to you. Okay, and yeah, my Prime links are at the bottom if you're looking for some short-term derivative stuff or whatnot. But today, what I'm going to be talking about is spot. Looking to buy spot, where I'm looking to buy it, and how I plan to buy it. Okay, so the biggest thing here is that the first thing we need to do is we need to reflect on what has happened, a major bull market and now a downtrend without any really relief bounce so far. Now, I'm not going to be here to talk about when you should have taken profits, etc., etc. But if you did follow along with me, if you did listen to my preaching each week when I talked about, putting aside profits to make you comfortable, etc., then you should be in a good place for what potentially could be coming, which should be a good opportunity. Okay, a little bit of water here. Now, we took stables out of the bull run, right? And we're going to work off that. Now, I'll bring out a notepad here, and we're going to work with some even numbers, just some hypothetical numbers. Okay, so let's say we took $200,000 out of the bull market. Now, of course, this number is going to be different for everyone, right? I'm not saying you need to have 200,000. I'm not saying you need to have 100,000. I'm just using numbers that are even. Okay, so we took 200,000 out of the bull market. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm putting aside 100,000 right off the bat, because I'm not going to lose all the bull market gains that I put all this hard effort into. Okay, and this number may change for you. You may want to keep 60% of your bull market gains, 70% of your bull market gains, and only use 20 or 30% to buy the dip. That is perfectly fine. Whatever makes you comfortable. I'm not here to tell you, you put all that hard work into the bull market. If you need, if you need that money to live a comfortable life, to pay for your kids' college, whatever it is, then I highly, recommend that you keep it on the side. But for, there's going to be young people out there who made a killing, and they're going to say, okay, I got 200,000, and I'm going to personally work with 50% here because it's a round number. My actual number is more like 30 to 40% is what I'm probably going to deploy, but we'll get into that more. Okay, so 100,000, 50% of the stables that we made during the bull market, that's what we plan to deploy just for this video's sake. Now, we're going to split that up into 5 clips, okay? We're not blowing the whole 100,000 at one point, because let's be honest, you're not a perfect bottom sniper, nor am I. We don't know what's going to happen with legacy and equity markets and how, they could potentially crash. We don't know if it's going to be a prolonged bear or if we're just going to get a nice wick and a bounce. So what we're going to do first is we're going to split it up into 5 clips, and we're going to fire these clips at the market when we believe that the bottom is in. Okay, so now we can head towards the chart and we'll look at this more. Okay, so Bitcoin, obviously we're coming up to support here, right? There's a major support level that's held all along the bull market. But as we know, typically, the more tests of a level, the weaker it becomes. Now, this was sort of proven wrong here with this fake out, and we just kept moving. So it is what it is. So this level could certainly hold again. I'm not saying it's not going to. Reminder that this video is purely preparation. It's a doomsday prep video. So if that day comes, if it comes, you have some type of framework, some type of preparation about what you're going to do. Okay, so let's pretend we nuke right through and we start a major downtrend, you know, equities, you know, SP 500 is nuking, everything is nuking. What are we looking at? Well, I'm looking at old all-time highs on Bitcoin, right here, right around 20,000. I'm also looking at old all-time highs on Ethereum, which is around 1,400. Okay, so how are we going to deploy those clips? Well, the first thing we're going to do is I'll be deploying my first clip at the old all-time highs. Okay, now whether you choose ETH or BTC is up to you. You could also split it, right? You could split your first clip and do 10,000 on ETH and 10,000 on BTC. Okay, you could do it however you want. All right, so there's your first clip has been expended. Now we're just going to go back to the ETH chart because it's simpler, and we'll delete this and say, okay, this person wants ETH. They're expending their first clip on ETH of 20,000. Okay, your level. Now let's say that its price is coming down and the level does not hold. Okay, it's piercing through. Now, the good thing is we have a second clip ready to go. And most likely what I'm going to do is that I'm only going to ever deploy 2 clips maximum in a single day, because we don't know if it's a prolonged bear. We don't know what's going to happen, and I don't need to deploy all the clips in one day trying to nail a perfect bottom. At most, I would ever deploy 3 clips in a single day, but it's most likely going to be 2. So let's say ETH keeps pushing through. I deploy the second clip on the same day below this liquidity level right here into about this area right here around the 800s to 7 to 800 area, around 800. Okay, so now I'm in for an average entry price of around 1150 or somewhere right around here. Okay, now that's day 1, and I'm not expending any more clips here unless maybe, you know, if it just kept nuking and pretend it's 400 or something insane. Okay, I deploy 1 more clip. Okay, and that's it. That's the very maximum, because I'm not going to be losing. I'm not going to be losing half my money. It just doesn't make sense. So if crypto's truly going to zero, which I believe it's not, because there's just so much adoption and so much innovation in the space, that there may be a ton of panic, there may be a huge massive sell-off, there could be destruction. That's why this is the doomsday video. But you know, with great risk comes great reward. Okay, but so also before we even get into that, we need to think, you know, that these clips we're firing off, it needs to be an amount you're comfortable with. Back to the beginning of the video, okay? If that amount's only 50, then that's fine, and you could split these clips up into 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, okay? And now you're good once again, okay? It needs to be an amount that you're comfortable with, okay? You have to be comfortable losing that amount, and I know I'm going to be, because I'm not going to miss out on a potential huge opportunity when I don't think crypto's dying. So if it's just coming down, and it's a crazy sell-off, like the COVID sell-off, I got to take a stab at it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a stab at it with the amount of money that I feel comfortable with, and you should do the same, okay? So we fire off 2 clips on a major down day. That's where we go. What am I doing from there? From there, I'm not firing off another clip for probably at least, I'm saying 5 days, probably about a week. I'll see where we're at in a week, and then I'll decide what I want to do. Have we bounced? Can we possibly find a higher low to deploy another clip? You know, let's pretend, just pretend something crazy, right? We run the lick and we consolidate. But we're sort of looking good. You know, I'm not sure what could come out fundamentally wise or what, but maybe stocks are bouncing strongly and crypto's lagging a little bit behind, right? So say S&P 500 is pumping again and things are quote unquote looking up. We're seeing bounces across the board, but crypto is lagging a little bit in a range. Okay, I may deploy another clip on a higher low, okay? So now there's our third clip deployed, okay? Now, if it's prolonged bear, then, you know, over time, we will eventually, you know, deploy most of those clips, or you can wait for a bullish change and then deploy the clip as well. So that's basically going to be my strategy. I really only have hardcore strategy for the first 3 clips. I'll use 2 on a day of massacre, and I'll use 1 a week later, sort of where I see where the market's at, maybe even 2 weeks later. And then the 4th and the 5th clip are really just adding to conviction. Okay, if I feel like the market's headed back up, if I feel good about things, I might deploy the 4th clip, I might deploy the 5th clip. But at the end of the day, it's okay, because you know this was money that I planned to deploy. I worked hard for this money, so did you. I plan to deploy this, and I'm going to be sticking to my strategy. And that's the biggest thing, because a lot of people, when price comes down and price is nuking like crazy, right? You know, and if we look at Bitcoin, you know, we mark out another level. You know, I really don't think it goes this low, but hey, you never know. Could even go, you know, things could get crazy. You don't know, depending on how equities go, okay? And if we're down at 13, you know I'm deploying another clip here. I'm splitting up my clips 50-50 between ETH and BTC. That's probably what I'm going to do. Remember that ETH is not going to bottom without Bitcoin bottoming. It's all the same, okay? But yeah, you have to be comfortable with what you're putting in, and remember that there could be a great opportunity here, and you know, a great opportunity to take these clips, right? To take this 100. And I mean, even if you put just 60, right? Pretend you only deployed 3 clips on the March crash, right? And you bought BTC at, you know, 4K or something. I mean, it went 15x from there or something, 14x, you know, I mean, so take your 60K and, you know, now you got 600, you know, 660, my math is shit. All right, you got like 800, you turned like 60K into 800K or something crazy. Now, of course, I don't think that's going to happen again, because the whole Federal Reserve thing and them just, you know, tightening monetary policy and whatnot, it's not the same market conditions, but you don't need a 15x to do some great things with your portfolio. You know, a 3x, a 4x over a couple months is amazing as well. So with great risk comes great reward potential, you know, based off a moment of great opportunity if it comes. Okay, so that is my strategy for the Doomsday Prep. Okay, I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, you know, leave your comments. I'll try to get to them. As always, you know, liking and retweeting, all that stuff helps. We'll cover one last thing, isolated leverage. For anyone who's on derivatives, I put a tweet about this out the other day. When you're on derivative, you know, a lot of people are going to be on cross. And if you're on cross and the exchange happens to just do some crazy wick or something, you know, you get some massive wick that doesn't even make sense. I just drew into the negative, but yeah, obviously I don't mean that. But if you get some crazy wick, it can nuke your entire account. So if you're forced on derivs, or you're still using derivs during moments of crazy volatility, what you can do is you can switch from cross leverage to isolated leverage, and you can look at where your stop loss is. So say your stop loss on ETH is 600. Take your leverage and put your leverage on isolated and slide it to the point where your liquidation price is going to be a bit below 600. So maybe your liquidation price is going to be like 520 or something. So what that's going to do is that if there's a massive wick and it wicks to say something crazy like $1, it would erase your whole entire account unless you get a fill on your stop market order to you know, your stop loss. If you don't get a fill on your stop loss, and you essentially sell the bottom, and it wipes out your account and all your margin. So isolated is the play here, okay? I understand you never want to get liquidated because you lose your margin, but isolated with your liquidation price a bit below your stop is probably very good for extremely volatile days. Okay, and the last thing I'll talk about is altcoins. I don't have a great read on alts, because what I think is that alts are simply going to move relative to Bitcoin and Ethereum. But we will look at 3, and I'll give you some quick thought process. What I think about alts is that I think that if there's a major down move, a lot of people are going to bid these obvious levels, and you're going to get major liquidation runs. Okay, so if everyone wants to bid this box, you do something like this, and then you really nuke that box, and then you bounce. Okay, something like Luna, same thing. Everyone buys the box, boom, shakes out the box like crazy, pumps. AVAX, I think this is a pretty clean level. Again, it could touch this level, maybe a little bit more, and it goes, okay? So what I'm watching for on any alts, and I'm not really paying attention to alts, my focus is on BTC and F now, because, you know, they're in charge. But if I was looking at alts, that's the type of thing I would be looking for, okay? Hopefully this video was helpful. A little bit of a doomsday prep for everybody. Yeah, you know, show it some love. Show Prime some love. You know, likes, retweets, comments, all that stuff is great. Appreciate you guys, and hope you all have a great week. And stay safe. Keep your wrist in check. Don't make any foolish mistakes. Plan ahead of time, so when the moment is upon you, you know what to do, and you don't need to second guess yourself. Okay? Plan, prep, have your clips in order, know exactly the risk you're using, all that shit. Okay? Be good, guys. Be safe. Talk to you soon.